This film is for families, carers and support workers who support people with learning disabilities and autistic people who have epilepsy. This video will give you an introduction to the risks linked to having epilepsy. It will share how you could help the people you support to reduce the bad effects of epilepsy and seizures and help people with learning disabilities and autistic people. We hope this information will help you to support people with learning disabilities and autistic people to make the right choices to live a safer life with epilepsy. Every week, at least 21 people with epilepsy die in the UK. Over half of these deaths are preventable. This means they could have been stopped. The most common reason for these deaths is SUDEP. SUDEP, or sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, is when someone with epilepsy dies and no other cause is found. There are lots of positive things you can do to support people with learning disabilities to live safely and to lower the risks of epilepsy. It is important that you know about these risks so that you can support people to live with epilepsy as safely as possible. This film will help you with this. Controlling seizures is the best way to lower epilepsy risks. So let's take a look at some of the things you can do to help lower the risk of seizures. Have an epilepsy care plan. Some people with epilepsy will have a care plan to share important information about their epilepsy, medications, care and support they might need, what to do when they have a seizure or in an emergency, and how best to keep them safe. You may need to give the person you support first aid during a seizure, or know how to give them emergency anti-seizure medication if their health professional has prescribed this for them. A care plan is personal to the individual and their epilepsy. Discussing what might be a risk and what can be done to live more safely with the person you support is a positive thing to do. It can help people to make the right choices for their epilepsy. For example, women with epilepsy may need a specific care plan to help with managing seizures during their periods, medication side effects, or if they decide to start a family, to help keep them and their baby as safe as possible. Help the person you support to make sure their epilepsy care plan is kept up to date. Remember, there are lots of things a person can do to lower the risk of dying because of their epilepsy. Have an emergency plan. Have a plan if there is an emergency during a seizure. Think about how to prevent and care for accidents and injuries. Have a plan for seizures at night. If seizures happen at night, then the people you support should have a nighttime monitoring plan. This might mean someone might need an extra carer for support, or the person might use a night monitor. A night monitor might not prevent SUDEP, but it can alert someone quickly to the fact that a person is having a seizure. Sleep is very important. Talk to the person you support about their sleep and encourage them to try and get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night if they can. If people don't get much sleep, or do not sleep well, this can increase the risk of seizures. If the person you support is not sleeping well, support them to tell a health professional. Medication. Support the person to make sure they take their epilepsy medication at the right time every day. This could either be a tablet or liquid. If people don't take medication for their seizures, this can be dangerous. The person you support could have more seizures, or their seizures could get worse. Sometimes medications can cause some problems. These are called side effects. If you are worried or have questions about epilepsy medication, support the person to speak to their health professional. It is important their health professional knows if the person you support feels differently after starting a new medication. Managing mental health and other health conditions. If the person you support has another health condition or illness and needs to take medication for it, support the person to speak to their doctor about this. Some medications can change how others work, so it is important that health professionals are aware if the person is taking anything else as well as their epilepsy medication. If the person you support often feels sad, worried or hopeless, or has little interest or pleasure in doing things, support the person to speak to a health professional. Staying safe during seizures. People with epilepsy can have accidents or get injured or hurt when they have a seizure. It is important to think about what the person can do to make their home, their work or places they often visit as safe as possible. This could include thinking about how they can stay safe while bathing, around water or from burns, scalds and falls during a seizure. If the person you support has new injuries, this might be a sign that their seizures are getting worse. Keep a record of their seizures. If they get worse and you notice other changes like bruises, increased tiredness, and changes in their sleep patterns or mood and behaviour, an urgent epilepsy review may be needed. Help the person you support to keep a diary. Suggest to the person you support to keep a diary of their seizures. This can help them to remember how many seizures they have had, what type of seizures they were, where they had them, and how they made the person feel. This is important as some seizures are more dangerous than others. For example, generalised tonic-clonic seizures are seizures where a person collapses or their body shakes and moves. Support the person to share the diary with their health professional, as this will help them understand what is happening with their seizures. It will also help to check the person is on the right epilepsy medication. It is important that the person you support eats a healthy and balanced diet. There are lots of websites that can help with this, including the NHS website. Alcohol. Drinking a lot of alcoholic drinks and/or taking illegal drugs can increase how many seizures a person has or make them worse. Try to encourage the person you support to drink safely and know the risks. Driving. If the person you support drives, support them to understand the law in relation to epilepsy and driving. Having a seizure whilst driving could be very dangerous for the person and others. Read the government website to learn more about the law in relation to epilepsy and driving. Clubs and activities. People with epilepsy can take part in many clubs and activities with the right support. Support the person to tell friends and supervisors at clubs or groups that the person has epilepsy. This can help people to know what to do in an emergency. For example, if the person injures themselves or if the seizure lasts for a long time. Keep up to date with new research and information. There is always new research about epilepsy, and there are lots of tools and technologies you can use to help you manage the risks. You can visit the charity SUDEP Action's website for more information. We hope this film has helped you to learn about these risks, so that you can help the person you support to make the choices that are best for them about their epilepsy, helping them to live as safely as possible.